Disclaimer. We are interested in everything and experts in nothing. We enjoy learning, but get it wrong sometimes. We mean no disrespect, and if we mess up, kindly correct us. Let's take this ride together, unless your intention is to cause harm or distress, in which case, with utmost haste, fuck right off.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Roxana.
It's my turn this week to guide you through something crazy.
Woohoo!
So I was so afraid that your topic last week was going to be the same as mine because we both happened to have a short topic at the same time. And I was so scared, oh no, we're going to do the same thing. But
that hasn't happened yet, but oh my God, it's gonna.
I know. I was like, what are we going to do? And Tyler's like, a collaboration. Well, but I am doing the Sandman.
Oh,
yay! Yeah.
The Neil Gaiman story?
I mention it briefly.
Okay.
Yeah. But just the myth, and we're going to talk about it, including, pop culture references.
Awesome. Which, by the way, you should watch it. It's fucking fantastic. But anyway,
I'm on episode 3.
Yes.
I'm on episode 3. But yeah, I was like, oh no, we both tend to take, inspiration from our daily lives. And we both started watching it this week. Oh no! And we both have a short topic.
Oh no! Okay, so Sandman, besides a 50s song that's semi-creepy. Moving on.
Yeah. So the Sandman is a mythological figure in European societies said to bring sleep and dreams.
Okay.
The myth was initially passed down orally, making it hard to trace the origins definitively.
Fair.
However,
very Homer-like.
Yeah. But the Sandman appears in writing starting in the 18th century in Germany.
Okay.
Beginning with a French-German dictionary in 1771.
All right.
Which defined the German idiom der Sandman kommt, meaning the Sandman is coming.
Sandman's coming, yeah.
Then in 1818.
Okay.
So what's that math? 50 years later? 25 years, 45 years later? Something like that.
A number of years later.
There was a story by E.T.A. Hoffman.
Why did they always do that with the letters? Why can't you just put your... Okay, I'm not going to... Moving on.
Right. E.T.A. Hoffman published a story called Der Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
In the story, the main character is retelling a story he heard from a nurse as a child.
Okay.
About a creature who throws sand into the eyes of children who will not sleep. Making them fall out of their heads.
Fuck!
He then collects the eyes to feed to his children before returning to his home on the dark side of the moon.
Okay, German fairy tales are fucked up. We need to do a series, probably in October, for Oktoberfest. We need to do a series on fucked up German tales, because dear God.
That would also be so fitting for Halloween.
Yes, we're doing it. All right. We won't remember when October comes. And so, oh well. But it's a plan for now.
For now. Anyway, so this story, from what I can tell, it's I don't know if it's a short story, but essentially, yes, it is a fictional story about a man telling a story that a nurse told him as a child.
And the nurse was like, go the fuck to sleep or I will cut out your eyes with a melon baller. I am so tired.
So, per monstersherethere.com.
Mm-hmm. I love that he's a monster.
This oddly threatening story is reinforced shortly after when a strange man who secretly visits the boy's father each night threatens to cut the young boy's eyes out for daring to peek in on the visit.
Oh, Jesus.
Instead, the man beats the boy soundly after the boy's father begs him not to blind the boy. Days later, the boy's father is killed in an explosion during one of these secret nightly meetings, and the threatening man disappears.
The fuck?
Yeah. The real story is now introduced. The lead character is grown up and believes he has once again encountered the threatening man who he believes killed his father. And Hoffman's story itself never comes back to the topic of the Sandman legend, which, in context, could be seen as the nurse warning the boy to stay out of the way.
Okay. So is that like, don't eavesdrop or you'll lose your fucking eyes and then your dad's gonna die?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Some of these don't have morals. It's literally just what happens when you eat beer and schnitzel and various sausages.
Well, and I almost got the feeling that like this story like maybe was referencing the oral like Sandman tradition thing, but was really just a novel that happened to mention it and was less like meant to be the myth.
So kind of like the boogeyman, there's like a billion different versions. So this was a different boogeyman story.
Right. So like that, except if there was a novel written about a person who heard about the boogeyman as a child and they named the novel the boogeyman, but that really wasn't the point of the story. It was just kind of in it, if that makes sense. Like the point of the story was this boy's father was killed by this man and he thinks he's found this man. But oh, by the way,
he might also be the boogeyman. Or the Sandman?
The Sandman thing came up when I was a kid and it creeped me out. Like, I don't know. I got the feeling that that was more just a novel.
Maybe you needed a different nanny.
What?
Maybe you needed a different nanny. Okay, maybe that bitch was on drugs.
Maybe that too. But anyway, so I think it just mentioned the Sandman in this novel, but like the novel wasn't meant to be the Sandman myth.
Okay.
That's how I was reading it.
It was just a little mental aside into why he has trauma from childhood.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So monstersherethare.com continued and said, in 1834, Hoffman's story was translated to English and included in an annual gift magazine called The Keepsake, which was a yearly compilation of fine art and good literature intended to be given as a gift around Christmas time each year in England.
You know what I need for Christmas? A story about someone's nanny telling me if I don't go to sleep, that he's going to pluck out my eyes and feed them to his demon children on the dark side of the moon. That makes me feel so festive. Bring me some eggnog.
Well, but apparently it says, though Hoffman's story was strange and scary, this was a time in England when ghost stories were still told as part of Christmas festivities.
So here's the ghost of Christmas present. I'll eat your eyes if you don't go to bed. Jesus. I don't see how that tracks, but okay, go on.
Going on. Okay, so then in 1841, Hans Christian Andersen wrote about the Sandman in a story called Ula Loci. And that is a Dutch spelling.
I was going to say, that's Dutch, isn't it?
It's Dutch, and I actually went out and like made it pronounce it for me repeatedly, and then I put it in phonetics. Ula Loci.
Yeah.
So according to an article by Jesslyn Shields on history.howstuffworks.com, Ula is a Danish first name.
Okay.
And Loci translates to shut your eye.
Okay. So it's basically Ula, shut your eye?
Yes.
Okay.
Although the main character of the tale is never called the Sandman by Andersen, it's often the name given to English versions of the tale.
Okay.
At the end of that story, we learn that Ula Loci, the Sandman, has a brother of the same name.
Oh my gosh!
Death instead of dreams. So first of all, I love the fact that Baba Yaga has like 3 of them that all have the same name, because I'm like, what are the fucking chances? Here we go.
Apparently, they don't have a lot of creativity. You were supposed to have one child. If you had a second one, you were out of names.
Yeah. So I thought that was great. But yeah, so the Sandman has a brother. They have the exact same name. One of them brings dreams and one of them brings death.
Oh man, that is not a good idea to get those 2 screwed up.
Right. Well, I found this especially interesting because no real spoilers, but in the opening episode of The Sandman on Netflix, the Magus is trying to ensnare the Angel of Death and
and then instead.
I feel like that's going to come up and matter later in the series.
I feel like it will. I feel like it will.
That might have something to do with how that happened. Don't know for
it
sure.
wasn't just a random oopsie. Apparently he put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable or whatever.
Right?
And
It's the
I
same
got
name,
your
man.
twin.
Yeah. Anyway, so eye crusties were considered evidence of the Sandman's visits.
I knew that.
Essentially as the remnants of the sand that he threw into one's eyes. He may have been given this moniker as a reference to the tendency to rub one's eyes when tired, as if something
like sand or something had gotten your eyes. Okay.
Some early versions of the tale says that he throws sweet cream in their eyes rather than sand.
Oh, that would give you such an infection.
You think?
Oh, why are you crying milk?
It's creepy.
I don't like that.
But for the most part, the less creepy version of the Sandman is the one that has endured the test of time.
Okay.
So just
Thank
a guy
God.
who brings dreams and makes you sleepy, not someone who's going to stalk you and steal your eyeballs and take them to the moon.
And then possibly season them with sweet cream first.
Right. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, pop culture references.
Yes.
So obviously the Netflix series The Sandman.
Which is based off a graphic novel series.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and apparently they were in they started being published, I believe, in the 80s, because I was thinking Neil Gaiman did a graphic novel series. I want to read it. They haven't been widely circulated in print for so long. I'm sure because of the popularity, they will start republishing them. Yeah. Because like the complete collection was $385 on Amazon. So I'm like, no.
So yeah, I looked at like 4 different articles for this episode, and that did not come up one single time.
That it was based on a graphic novel?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys. That would have been good to know.
That would have been good to know, but that's fine. It knew I needed something to contribute besides gross milk eyeballs.
Right. So in this rendition, the Sandman is also known as Lord Morpheus. So Morpheus is a familiar name to those of us who've seen The Matrix. So I wanted to take a real quick aside and like, what the fuck does that name mean? Where does that come from?
I think it's Greek, isn't it?
So yeah, per Britannica.com, in Greco-Roman mythology, Morpheus was one of the sons of Hypnos, who was the god of sleep. And Morpheus was in charge of sending human forms into people's dreams. There was another brother whose name I didn't write down, who was in charge of sending like animals.
Okay, but what's the one that sends like weird ass banana fingers or some shit?
I don't know, but I think you need to have a conversation with that one.
I do. I absolutely do. So many things have to be answered for my dreams.
Yeah, y'all need to sit down and have a come to Zeus meeting, because no.
For real.
Anyway, so I feel like the dude who brings like people into dreams, I feel like that tie is probably somehow related into why they chose that name in The Matrix. But
probably, yeah, I can see that.
Continue down that road, because that is not the point of this episode.
Yes, that is a very different rabbit hole that will lead you to a badger's den. That's not why we're here.
No, but it's a curiosity for sure.
It is.
Anyway, so that's obviously one. Also, Spider-Man has a foe called the Sandman.
Oh yeah, he does. But he has
from what I've read about him, this is like a very literal application of the name.
Yeah, he's a literal Sandman. He was in a couple of the movies too.
Yeah, he's a man made of sand.
Yeah.
And he can harden it, like to turn his hand into a hammer.
Yeah.
Or soften it to like allow bullets or whatever to pass through him at will.
Yeah, it was like an industrial accident or something.
I mean,
like it always is in
that's the comic book trope, man.
It's the comic book trope, is there some kind of industrial accident. But yeah, no, the Sandman had nothing to do with sleep. I think he was just using that name because he was a man made of sand.
Yeah, I did not dig very deeply into that, but I swear to God, this must have been in cartoons we watched as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it was like the Batmans or
the Amazing Spider-Man.
Or I don't feel like I watched Spider-Man though. But I feel like they had to take the same idea.
They had so many cross episodes.
It was Clayface or whatever.
Clayface was Batman, and that was a different industrial
But maybe that's what I'm thinking of. because it was a very similar.
They are very similar.
Anyway, so that's
it was some like makeup thing that he was the chemicals untested, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
He's fabulous in the new Harley Quinn movie or the show, the series. Oh, so good.
Yeah. So as you mentioned earlier, there was a 1954 song called Mr. Sandman by the Chordettes, which is like, I don't know, very upbeat, but I actually haven't read the lyrics.
Well, the only reason I say it's creepy is because in the movie Crybaby, which was a John Waters film with Johnny Depp. I love that movie so much. There is like, of course, the alternative, like kind of biker gang, gothy kids. And of course, Johnny Depp is like the motorcycle bad boy who falls in love with the squeaky clean beauty queen. And one of the scenes is she's trying to sing this song. And, it's a woman saying, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. But then there's like this creepy dude that like keeps leaning into her microphone to go, yes, every time she says, Mr. Sandman, because he'd go, yes. And it's like, dude, back away, personal space. And of course, he's the villain in the movie. So you're like also ultra icky and he's trying to steal her spotlight. And you're like, fucking let her sing, man. So that's why it's creepy. It has nothing to do with the actual song. It's basically some girl saying, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream, meaning a dream man. Yeah. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen.
Yes.
So it's not a creepy song, but that's how I always remember it.
Right. Whereas I always remember it from Back to the Future when he shows up in 1955.
Right. Okay. So that's fair. That's
not a creepy connotation for me.
No, it's not.
I'm like, I thought it was a fine song.
It is a totally fine song. In my version, you should go see Crybaby because it's like the campiest, most hilarious, most fucking awesome movie ever. Anyway, but yeah, that's what I think of when I think of Sandman.
Okay. So definitely different connotation.
Yes.
Context matters, guys.
Context does matter.
So Mr. Sandman, 1954 by the Chordettes. Also, Enter Sandman by Metallica, 1991.
Yes.
Now those lyrics definitely have a darker vibe to them.
Right.
Because why are you sleeping with one eye open and gripping your pillow tight if the Sandman is not a creepy dude who wants to see your eyeballs and go to the moon? I'm just saying.
He is. That's like, they're singing about the German version, clearly.
Exactly. So yeah, that one's a little bit darker.
Yeah.
But
way darker.
That's what I got on the Sandman.
Woohoo!
So I honestly expected there would be more, but it's pretty cut and dried, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably more if you get into like the Greek mythos with like Morpheus and the King of Dreams and all that
there were
shit.
100 different rabbit holes I could go down. But
right.
Mr. Sandman in general, the Sandman in general, that was pretty cut and dried. 1800s showed up in a fairy tale, and here we are.
Here we are. I like it. I'm for it. Yeah. Except for the eyeball eating and milking. That's gross.
Yeah, that was creepy. I'm glad that was new information to you because you are usually the one with the myths and the fairy tales.
I got the weird shit. I got to admit, I'm for the weird shit, but apparently, like, Germany is messed up, but apparently I never heard that one.
Yeah.
I say Germany is messed up, and I just did a whole thing about Baba Yaga, who's got fucking chicken legs and eats people and has skulls on spikes and shit like that. So I really can't judge Germany. Please don't be offended. I am from the land of Baba Yaga, and she's fucked up as hell.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna let it go, but now that you mention it, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I understand. I understand that my judgment is skewed.
Oh, all right. So, if you enjoyed the podcast, give us a like, share, subscribe on any platform. You can find us on social media. We are on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Our Trivial Obsessions. We are on Twitter at Our Trivial Pod. We have a website, www.ourtrivialobsessions.com. That's where you're going to find our episode references and bonus materials. And you can email us at randomqueensobsess@gmail.com. Random.
Because we are.
Queens.
Because we are.
Obsess.
Because we do.
So you can email us there with any topic requests for a future episode or anything that you would like to add to the conversation. And with that, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.